didn't really get a chance a lot to talk about, I didn't get a chance at all, at least on the show, to talk about Donald Trump's press conference in regards to the disinfectants. Let me play a little bit of audio for you first. To me, this is vintage Donald Trump. And it's so funny when you hear some of these diehard Trump fans that try to defend it. This is Donald Trump at his press conference last week talking about using UV light and injecting disinfectant to kill the virus. Have a listen to this.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number in the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, pretty powerful. Is anybody, Chris, do you have any Lysol? I want to inject it in my ass.
I think we have some Windex floating around here somewhere in this apartment.
Guys. Listen, okay? This is serious stuff.
Guys.
This is serious stuff here. Why? Because Donald Trump doesn't just represent the logical people in this country, or Republicans or Democrats. He also represents stupid people, as every president does. And there are stupid people out there that will take that for what it's worth and could kill themselves. There are doctors, if you want to talk about doctors throughout the country, that are saying if you want to commit suicide, that's a good way to do it. Inject disinfectant into your body. This is serious. And the president is responsible for it, in my personal opinion, because it should have never been brought up. And there's not one doctor that would say that what he said was legitimate. Now, the next day, he lied to the American people. Now, the people in Trump's administration were spinning. And they said, the news media, they're taking it out of context. No, we aren't. We played the entire minute he talked about it. Nothing out of context. The next day, President Trump, the liar-in-chief, said he was being sarcastic. Have a listen to this.
I was asking a question sarcastically to reporters like you just to see what would happen. Now, disinfectant for doing this, maybe on the hands, would work. And I was asking the question of the gentleman who was there yesterday, Bill, because when they say that something will last 3 or 4 hours or 6 hours, but if the sun is out or if they use disinfectant, it goes away in less than a minute. Did you hear about this yesterday? But I was asking a very sarcastic question to the reporters in the room about disinfectant on the inside. But it does kill it, and it would kill it on the hands, and that would make things much better. That was done in the form of a sarcastic question to the reporters.
Okay, Brian, I'm going to go with my Joe Scarborough imitation here. Okay, that's a lie. All right. He did not direct that in those comments to any reporters. Okay.
No, right.
The only person that he directed those comments to were Dr. Birx, who was sitting to his right inside the Brady press briefing, inside that room there. Okay. So that is a flat up, straight up lie. And as you pointed out, okay, this is about him trying to switch it over to some type of sarcastic comment when, in fact, he was absolutely being serious.
No, he's lying. And by the way, poison control, you don't think this is serious? Poison control centers are getting calls around the United States, and Lysol actually put out a statement on Friday, believe it or not. You can't make this stuff up. This is serious stuff. And for anybody out there that defends, and by the way, there are people out there that are defending the president's comments. It is outrageous. It is disgusting. He just took it to a whole new level. And I want you to listen to Dr. Birx, in a way defending Donald Trump, and I want to discuss this afterwards. But this was Dr. Birx, CNN with Jake Tapper over the weekend. Have a listen to this.
Well, first, that was a dialogue he was having between the DHS scientist and himself for information that he had received and he was discussing. We have made it clear, and when he turned to me, I made it clear, and he understood that it was not as a treatment. And I think that kind of dialogue will happen.
Okay, so Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci, any doctor that is in the Trump administration, they need to think about the American people first, and stop defending the president when it comes to stuff like this. So what Dr. Birx said, completely is different than what the president said. He said he was being sarcastic. Dr. Birx didn't mention anything like that, so we know that that was a lie. And as far as dialogue goes, Dr. Birx, with all due respect, and to the president of the United States or anyone out there that is defending this, these press conferences are not about dialogue between the president of the United States and the doctors. That's not what these press conferences are about. If he had a question about disinfectants or, UV light, that should have been asked. It would have been a dopey question, but it should have been asked behind closed doors, not at a media press conference.
And there is a company that actually has a tube when you're intubated, when you can't breathe, they stick it down your throat, and it does apply light inside your chest. And there's a company that does that, and actually Twitter censored that company yesterday. There's a huge video on YouTube. You can watch it, and this is a real thing. Now, obviously, injecting disinfectant into your lungs is not a real thing, but clearly he was asking a question. He said he thought that was interesting. Obviously, that and I believe that was dialogue, but it had no business being in the national press briefing. Just like when Carolyn Goodman had the same dialogue with Anderson Cooper, and she said, I asked my statistician if we could turn Las Vegas into a control group. That was a private conversation that she should not have, made public. And I think Donald Trump did the exact same thing with a private conversation that he had with Dr. Birx and with the scientist as well. But it happened to be made public, and that's why it's wrong. But that being said, there is something to be said for the UV treatment, and there is a company that does it, and Twitter took down.
There's not a doctor across the country that says UV light can help you if you have coronavirus. Name me one study or one doctor on the record that said that.
I just told you a company that exists.
You said a company. That doesn't mean anything to me.
A company does this, and do you understand what the virus actually is?
Yes, do you?
Yes,
I do. You think UV light is going to cure the coronavirus?
It is a RNA molecule surrounded by a lipid. Do you know what a lipid is?
Yes, I do.
A lipid is a fat.
I understand.
What does heat do to fat?
I've had a lipid profile.
Okay. What does heat do to fat?
You want to question me on the coronavirus right now? You're just defending.
I'm not defending
Donald Trump.
I am not defending the disinfectant comment. I said that was off the cuff.
And the UV light, you're defending that.
I believe that
you think that was appropriate.
I believe that could possibly work. I look at the countries all over the world
you think that
have heat where this virus is not spreading very quickly.
So think about what you're saying.
I think I do believe that UV light or heat will in fact kill the virus much faster than obviously being inside an enclosed area.
Let's start.
And there's a company.
Okay, I know you brought that up.
No, I did, but you don't understand why I brought it up. What I'm saying is Twitter censored that company. Good. They deleted all their profile. There was a huge public outcry about it. They had to put it back in, and YouTube did the exact same thing with it. Just kind of like Google Play did with the call into the radio show into Larry King with Joe Biden's accuser, where suddenly that went away. Tara Reid's mother.
If I can interject here, again, the key word is JD. You said you believe. You're entitled to your opinion, but you said you believe.
Right.
Number one. Number two, there is no sufficient data in this country that will suggest that UV light can help you if you have the coronavirus. Number three. Just because you might believe something or you think there might be a possibility does not give the President of the United States the authority, and shouldn't, to discuss it in a coronavirus press conference. You understand how irresponsible it is, Chris? I know you're with me on this.
Look, I wanted to chime in because the President of the United States, you talked about the impact that he has. It was reported over the weekend that there were a number of calls into call centers, poison call centers, because there were individuals in New York and other states around the country who are calling in asking about this and whether or not this is something that they could actually entertain. So we have to understand, yes, the president has a huge platform, and you cannot spout off nonsense like this. Now, you guys are talking about, JD, you're bringing up one company or one doctor or one research office, okay? And there's been a huge number of health experts over the past 3 days that has said even talking about this is completely nonsensical, okay? The fact that we're actually bantering about whether or not disinfectants or UV light has some type of impact on this.
I find it very interesting that you think that heat
can't
why are
we
kill.
Talking about this?
I think it's interesting that you think that heat can't kill a virus that is literally surrounded by a layer. I mean, just logically that makes sense.
It's not what I think.
And I'm saying there are companies that have treatments for this particular virus out there.
there were a number of doctors over the weekend, JD, I have to repeat it again, that said that why are we even talking about this? This is
absurd.
a waste of our time. It's
absurd.
an absurd topic that the President of the United States decided to zero in on, and it doesn't make any sense.
I agree. It doesn't make any sense. It's absurd. And just because there might be one company that's doing it, the doctors throughout the country are saying that it is absolutely not a cure, and there's no evidence to back up the fact that any type of UV light could help you if you have the coronavirus, period. And for the president to bring it up is beyond irresponsible and disgusting.